Hello and welcome to Engine Adventures review of this 2023 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X. Really enjoying this vehicle so far for 2023. Not a lot of updates, but the last one we tested was either pre-production or early production, and it was missing a few features and whatever else. But again, if you've watched my other videos on the Frontier, this new powertrain with the 3.5 liter V6 and 9-speed automatic is wonderful. So I feel like this one's not tuned as well as the last two that I had. I'm getting used to driving it now, but sometimes it catches me off guard a little bit with what it's doing. But in the past, the ones that I've had have been really spot on, just excellent. Best driving mid-sized trucks as far as the powertrain goes, in my opinion. Really enjoy this thing. Let's go ahead, take a look under the hood. As you can tell, this is the Pro 4X version. Gets you a little bit more aggressive tires. You get the rear differential lock, and you can't be an off-roader without red tow hooks, because if they're any other color, then they are useless. Let's look under the hood. Before we get under the hood, I want to talk about the fog lights, which are not fog lights. They're an extra set of driving lights. I know I talk about this a little bit too much probably, but just the other day, there was a little bit of a blizzard going on. Couldn't see very well with the headlights on. Turning them off, I could see better, but then it posed a risk for other vehicles on the road not being able to see me as well. You know, leaving the marker lights on helps, but still you want the headlights on so other people can see you. I was in a vehicle that had fog lights in air quotes, but again, you had to have the headlights on to have the fog lights on, making them useless for fog lights. That's why I talk about that. If I had the fog lights, like the Sequoia especially, whose fog lights are super low and don't point out very far, those would have been very useful in that blizzard, but in the vehicle I was in, not so much. Here we are, 3.5 liter V6, and this engine and transmission, as I mentioned, are just tuned so well. I really love the way this thing drives. It's responsive and it does what you expect it to do. I keep calling it a 3.5 liter. This is a 3.8 liter, 310 horsepower, 281 foot-pounds of torque. It feels torquier than that, but maybe it's just got a pretty flat torque curve from low RPM going all the way up, because it feels pretty good off the line, pretty jumpy. It moves really well. Check out the towing video. I've already done that. It'll be posted after this one, but anyway, the towing video, this thing actually tows pretty well also. I mean, it does have some complex features to it, but no turbochargers. It's fairly easy to get into most of it. There's a lot of intake stuff going on, but it's not too bad to get into this engine, do regular maintenance, spark plugs, coils. You can get to the front of the engine, whatever you need, alternator and stuff like that, simply by pulling off some of the air features. And Renault battery, Renault Nissan. Anyway, something I've mentioned in all these truck videos lately, the amount of space here. So between the radiator and the grill, there is so much space in there, and probably crash worthiness, maybe for some of the sensors, cameras, not self-driving, but driver aids, all that kind of stuff. That's probably a reason there's so much room there. But it just seemed like, what if they cut that 6-8 inches off of there and gave you a better approach angle? Also, of course, with the Pro 4X, additional skid plate protection and stuff like that underneath. This video is not focusing on the off-road ability. Check out the off-road video for that information. Get a very small bed, but that's what you expect in a mid-size truck. Have the rack system, or rail system, I guess would be a better word for it, with these tie downs, and make sure these are tight. They do kind of rattle around when they're loose, so I was trying to figure out where the rattle was coming from. I thought it was the exhaust, but it kind of just slightly rattle. But once I figured it out, just tighten that down, good to go. Down here, it is a, well, let's open the tailgate because I can't see the exact number on it. 120 volt, 400 watt outlet right there. Not bad. You get this lower tie down hook. Of course, you can move these. You can pull this off entirely, put it on the front, wherever you need it to be. It's a pretty functional bed, but yeah, really quite small. Not a lot of room in there. Of course, backup camera standard, but look where it is, dead center. If you're towing, you want it to be in line with your hitch, which this one is. However, the hitch is recessed about 2 inches, and you can see these marks here. That was from me towing. I had to put the hitch in the rise, and the movement of the trailer and stuff was making it just touch the bumper there. Most trucks, or many trucks, the receiver sits further out, which decreases your departure angle a little bit, but it's much better when the receiver is flush or out from the bumper a little bit, because it allows more room for the hitch, and you can see better from the camera, which when there's a hitch in there, you can see the hitch just fine. Of course, 4-pin, 7-pin, said that backwards. There's the 4-pin, there's the 7-pin plugs on the back. Let's go ahead and take a look inside. So my first impression sitting in the driver's seat was that it tilts forward a little bit, and you can adjust the height, but you cannot adjust the pitch of it. And I would like the front to be just a little bit higher for me personally. You do get the Pro 4X seat with hexagonal tread pattern, maybe tire tread pattern. But anyway, I do like the orange stitching and the orange accents throughout on this Pro 4X. It does make it a little more attractive. Inside here, it's pretty small. It's easy to reach across. I can actually reach the rear window, rear seat belt, stuff like that from this position. Let's go ahead and start it. Make sure the radio's off. But anyway, it's the screen here, very clear, very high quality screen. Like this a lot. It, however, let's wait, there we go. The camera system, you can see, hopefully that's picking up, it's pretty blurry. So you have a really high definition screen with Toyota Tacoma quality cameras. These are probably slightly better than Tacoma, but about that level of camera. So it would be nice to see higher quality cameras in this thing. The side ones are dirty, which is why those are so blurry, but it does have the surround view, which is a nice feature. Yeah, the overall layout is really quite good. It's just a little small, a little bit cramped, so you do have buttons over here that are harder to reach to and harder to see. So traction control and rear diff lock down here, cargo lamp, downhill assist, I believe they call that. Anyway, your downhill assist is what I'll call it. Whatever Nissan calls it might be different. This one is all your sensors, lane keep assist or lane keep warning, stuff like that. Here is your outlet for the bed. Wonder if you can change that. Whether it's, I think it's 150 when this is off, and when you turn it on, it goes to 400 watts. Let me see if I can just do 150. Nope. Okay. And then your tow haul mode button right here, and your gauge instrument cluster stuff there. Yeah, so these buttons on this side, pretty hard to see. The push to start button is also fairly hard to see. Not the worst thing in the world, you'll get used to it, but it's just a little bit difficult because it sits behind the steering wheel. They could maybe optimize this over here a little bit, move the USBs down here or something to free up space for additional buttons there. But overall, it's a compact vehicle. I'm trying to fit everything in. I understand why they're doing things. 4-wheel drive, it's in a good spot. No factory brake controller on this, despite having the 7-pin wiring. It would be nice. I believe I saw a plug underneath in the driver's footwell for a brake controller, so it wouldn't be hard to install an aftermarket one, but it would be nice if they offered that from the factory. Wireless charging, possibly one of the better ones or one of the best ones I've used, as when I'm towing in a vehicle without a trailer brake controller. I do have a wireless brake controller, connects to my phone. I left my phone right here with the screen on the whole time so I could manage the brake controller, and it charged up an additional like 20% within 40 minutes or so. So it was still charging while the screen was on and actively engaged with the brake controller, which was really nice to have that much charging power in there. Climate control, dual zone, simple to use, whatever. I just like the layout of these things, these, you know, the Chevy Colorado and stuff like that. I can't wait to get in the new Colorado to see what they've done there, but they're optimized, easy to use, basic in general. You don't have a lot of complex things to go through on these, and I really like that about it. Center armrest storage is okay. 3 pen holders. You can't fit a sheet of paper in there, but it's not bad at all. And then just a lower glove box here, and not the outside of it opens quite large, but the actual space inside isn't as big as the opening would make it seem. Do have sunroof, moonroof up here, and sunglasses holder, but see how fat that is? I can fit my sunglasses in there, no problem, if I do it right. And my Tifosi jets, that's what I have, are generally too thick for a lot of vehicles, so I do like that. And then your HomeLink garage door buttons there. Rear window is manual. Again, if I stand up, I can reach that from the driver's seat, not the end of the world. Let's go ahead and take a look in the back row. I'm gonna flip it off, save fuel a little bit. And I've been getting decent gas mileage in this thing, even towing. We'll show you the overall average. In towing, I was around 11 or 12, which wasn't bad, but anyway. Again, tread pattern on seats, orange stitching, and the space, it's a little tight back here, but it's not bad. So seating position when I drive, it doesn't move forward or back, so that's how much room is there. Do have an additional outlet right here, 120 volt 400 watt USB-C, USB-A. Plenty of charging, well, 2 charging ports there should be enough, but cup holder here, bottle holder, it's pretty big. And yeah, just power window, power locks there. 2 more cup holders here in the center armrest. And one design I do not like are the seats cannot be lifted one-handed, so you have to, I guess you can pull it like that and lift it and then push hard to get it to lock up. And this one has the Fender audio, that says Fender right there. Anyway, I don't know how well that shows up. Fender audio on this side, so not any storage under there really. There's a tiny bit that you can get, but I guess you can actually do that one-handed. It just takes a little bit of effort. Let's go take a look at the other side. All right, over here, get rid of this child seat there, and there we go. Lift it one-handed. You do get a storage cubby here. This is removable. You can untwist it, pull those out, pull the storage cubby out if you want, and that'll give you a little bit more space to lay something down on the floor and have it come over to here if you need to. But yeah, so there's a little bit of storage on this side, but the subwoofer takes up the storage on the other side. So there we go. It is one-handed operation. I just needed to learn that. Again, it's a small, compact truck, fairly comfortable. I didn't show those before, but it does have the LED bed lights, and of course, lights on the back of the cab to light up the bed. Yeah, not bad at all. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Monroney. 2023 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X Crew Cab 4x4 automatic V6. Base price $38,720, 3.8 liter V6, 310 horsepower, 281 foot-pounds of torque, 9-speed auto, shift on the fly, 4-wheel drive system, which maybe I need to go over all that, but it does have Nissan's ABLS, which is this 4-wheel active brake limited slip, Bilstein off-road shocks, and electronic locking rear differential. 4-wheel drive. In most 4-wheel drive vehicles, you can shift from 2-wheel drive into 4-wheel drive at up to 55 miles an hour. Some are higher than that, some are lower than that, but generally if you're under like 50 miles an hour, you can flip that over to 4-wheel drive and give that additional traction if you need it. That's what it means by shift on the fly. And then if you're going to 4-low, of course, you have to be at a stop. Transmission needs to be in neutral, and then you can shift into 4-low. All right, back to the pricing. Premium paint, $395, and this is, oh, I don't see the color on there. Brown. We'll just call it brown. But Anyway, it's I really like this color. It's kind of a little bit of a matte color. Of course, it does have the clear coats and all that stuff on it that make it shiny, but I do like this, I don't know, desert tan color. Then it has a Pro Convenience Package, $21.90. Spray-on bed liner, the rack system in the bed with the cleats, 120-volt outlet. But here's the kicker. Heated outside mirrors, heated steering wheel, heated front seats, LED under rail lighting, remote start. All these things, trailer hitch with wiring harness, intelligent around view monitor with the moving object detection, and wireless mode or charging. So there's a lot of features in this one that I think should be standard. Heated outside mirrors, that, or at least be able to get without getting this big old package. Outside mirrors, having those heated, as I've seen this winter, especially with all the snow we've been getting, it would be nice to have those be an option in lower packages without having to get the whole thing. The floor mats, doesn't show a price for those, but well, maybe that's part of this. Floor mats Pro 4X carpeted Pro premium package. So $27.90 gets you the 10-speaker Fender audio, which sounds pretty good. Not amazing, but a lot better than just your basic audio systems. Auto dimming inside mirror, again, I guess that's fine whether it's auto dimming or has the little lever thing to flip there. Not a big deal, but some of these things should be available without the big package. 17-inch beadlock style wheels. These are not beadlocks, beadlock style. That seems to be all the rage in the off-road world, but I don't like faux things, so these little fake bolts here simulate beadlocks or beadlock style or whatever. I prefer to have the real thing or not at all. Just my opinion. And then the technology package, lane departure warning, blind spot warning, rear cross traffic, rear sonar, rear automatic braking, high beam assist, intelligent cruise control, and traffic sign recognition. So that's $9.90. Destination of $12.95 brings the total to $46,380. And let's go ahead and fire it up. City MPG 17, highway 22, combined is 19. And I'm actually doing pretty good. Let me run over. It's been a minute since I looked at it. 18.1. That includes about 15% of the time I was towing, maybe 15% of the miles I've driven it, and towing a billboard, essentially, a very large trailer with a lot of wind resistance, and so it's done really quite well. Some things that are annoying, see these sensors are on, go ahead and flip those off, shift into reverse, they come back on, turn them off, sorry, turn them back off, shift down into drive, go back into reverse, those sensors come back on. That's one that really bugs me. When you hook up a trailer, it doesn't automatically disable these sensors, and so you're reversing and it's automatic braking for you. Automatic braking keeps stopping you because it thinks you're going to run into a trailer. It's really annoying, so I would expect Nissan to do better. It knows when there's something plugged in back there. When there is something plugged in, it should just disable those automatically, or you should have the option of pushing that and holding it down to dismiss it, but now, so it's off right now. I'll shift again into drive, back into reverse, comes right back. So that is an annoying thing, especially when you're backing a trailer and you have to make multiple turns or whatever, multi-point turns to back it in, to get it precisely where you want it. It's a little bit of a pain. I wish they would do something better with that. All right, 0 to 60. Hopefully we don't spin out too much. 3, 2, 1, go. Tiny bit of wheel spin, but it wasn't much. 60. S-curves. There's a big bump right here. Not too bad. So pickup trucks, especially these little ones, seem to do pretty well in the S-curves because they have fairly stiff suspension, which keeps them from leaning in the corners, but the no weight on the rear end means that you can kind of get the back end to slide out if you want to. But really, this thing's quite nimble for being, you know, just a little pickup or whatever. It does pretty well. All right, back to the 0 to 60. We did 8.91 seconds. I'm sure it would do much faster than that, especially with brake torquing or whatever you want to call it, and instead of just flat footing it from nothing. But yeah, not too bad. On the freeway, again, Frontier's pretty good. It's got fairly stiff suspension because it's a little pickup with decent payload and all that stuff. So on the freeway, it's got a little bit of a firm ride, but not bad at all. There's expansion joints here in this concrete. It rolls over those, no problem. You hardly feel them. And yeah, overall just pretty good. It does seem to have a little bit of problem keeping speed at 80 miles an hour. I'm not sure why that is. It still does better than the Tacoma that I've driven in the past. We'll see how this one goes next week. But anyway, for some reason, this particular Frontier just feels slightly off compared to the previous 2021 and 2022 Frontiers that I've had. I believe is what the years were on those. Anyway, both of those had the same engine transmission as this, but this one something just feels not quite perfect with it. I still love it. I still think it's one of the best driving, or maybe the best driving mid-size truck. But yeah, just on the freeway, does great. You can cruise, no problem. Just goes right along and has good power. Just needs to downshift or at least unlock the torque converter sometimes to get up and go, and some overpasses that are steeper. But for the most part, you don't hardly even notice. You can just set your foot and go, and for the most part, you're good. Using the adaptive cruise control, it's set to 74 miles an hour. We're going 35-ish, and it's been stop and go. It's been really good about keeping distance, you know, between the vehicle in front of me. And the impressive part is when a vehicle changes lanes, I've been in other cars, so the vehicle in front of you changes lanes, there's a fairly large gap. Other manufacturers' vehicles will pretty much floor it. They'll jump up, downshift, start heading into the next car in front of you, and then they'll pick it up and say, oh no, now I'm going too fast, and slam on the brakes, and it's just a pain. This one, I've only had 2 cars leave from in front of me, and both times it added a little bit of throttle, sped up a little bit, very quickly, maybe never even lost the next car in front of me, and so it just eased up behind it. I also like the following distance here. I have it set kind of at the furthest one, but it's doing a really good job of keeping this set distance, and then as you go slower, it'll move in a little bit closer. As you can see right now, it just happens to work out to my advantage right now. But anyway, so it seems to be speed sensitive. The faster we're going, the bigger gap it'll keep. The slower it goes, the smaller gap it'll keep. And I really like that. I don't like these driver assist systems. I almost never use them. Figured I'd try it out, and so far, been pretty darn good. Thank you for watching Engine Adventures review of this 2023 Nissan Frontier Pro 4X. Still a really great truck. I'm really excited to see some of the newer competitors as they come out, but I would wager that this one's up there with the best, and we have a Tacoma coming up, so we'll be sure to do a comparison between this and the Tacoma. But really, the engine and transmission on this thing, very well tuned. I like the way it drives, and overall, a great truck. If you liked what you saw, be sure to hit subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post new videos. Give me a thumbs up, comment down below. If you didn't like what you saw, hit subscribe, ring the bell, do all the same stuff. Give me a thumbs down and comment down below. Let me know why. I want to hear your thoughts, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you want to see. Thanks again. Have a great day.